Hello everyone. In this video we will talk about software licenses. Basically, a software license is an agreement between a user and the owner of a software program that defines what all the user can do with that software. This agreement gives guidelines on how the software can be used. When you want new software for yourself, you may ask the following questions to a software firm. How long you can utilize the particular software? How much you have to pay for the software? And on how many machines can you install the software? Now we will talk about some different types of licenses. First one is the public domain. This is the most permissive type of software license. When software is in the public domain, anyone can modify and use the software without any restrictions. But you should always make sure it's secure before adding it to your own code base. This includes code snippets you find on the internet. Second, permissive. Permissive licenses are also known as Apache style or BSD style. They contain minimal requirements about how the software can be modified or redistributed. Aside from the Apache license and the BSD license, another common variant is the MIT license. Third, LGPL. The GNU Lesser General Public License allows you to link to open source libraries in your software. If you simply compile or link an LGPL licensed library with your own code, you can release your application under any license you want, even a proprietary license. But if you modify the library or copy parts of it into your code, you'll have to release your application under similar terms as the LGPL. Fourth, proprietary. Of all types of software licenses, this is the most restrictive. The idea behind it is that all rights are reserved. It's generally used for proprietary software where the work may not be modified or redistributed. Now let's talk about open source licenses. Till January 2021, there are more than 200 million repositories in GitHub. Developers can leverage the power of open source and don't need to reinvent the wheel. Sounds simple. But there are over 200 open source licenses out there, varying in complexity and requirements. Half are approved by Open Source Initiative. It's a challenge, or at least an easy job for the developers to choose the software under certain open source licenses to be compatible with their requirements and ensure the projects remain compliant. Now we will talk about the most used open source licenses. MIT, ISC, 2-clause BSD, 3-clause BSD, and Apache are the most used permissive open source license. They guarantee developers the freedom to use, modify, and redistribute, while also permitting proprietary derivative works. MIT, ISC and 2-clause BSD are functionally equivalent. They are easy to understand. They can be stated as, hey, use my source code, do whatever you want, just do not sue me, and add a notice in your product. ISC has the least text, and MIT is the most popular. All three JavaScript framework Angular, React, and Vue.js use MIT. The 3-clause BSD license has one clause in addition to the 2-clause. It doesn't allow to endorse or promote products using the name of the copyright holders or contributors. Go language uses 3-clause BSD. Apache 2 lays down the grant of patent rights explicitly while using, modifying, or distributing. It also lists the circumstances when such a grant gets withdrawn. Lawyers are appreciated in these long texts. Due to such a fact, Apache 2 is the preferred license in these big tech giants: Alphabet, Apple, Amazon, and Microsoft. Comparing to the permissive open source license, the copyleft license has more restrictions. The famous one is GPL3, published in 2007. Developers can use it in commercial products but have to grant the user access to the source code. GCC, the GNU compiler, uses GPL3. While on the other hand Linux still uses GPL2. There is an even more restricted version named AGPL3. It is especially for the software hosted on the server. Under AGPL3, developers need to make the source code of the derivative work to the user. Even they don't distribute the software to their user but provide service. MongoDB originally releases the MongoDB database under AGPL3 to allow the library used in the proprietary software. A less restricted license has been published by Free Software Foundation LGPL. It is also called a weak copyleft license, sitting between permissive and copyleft license. Originally L means library to indicate that it is for the library. Later it is changed to lesser to reflect the Free Software Foundation's position that not all libraries should use it. 3D model tool FreeCAD uses LGPL3. Mozilla has also published a weak copyleft license, MPL2. According to Mozilla Foundation, the copyleft of MPL applies to any files containing MP-led code, while LGPL is for any library based on LGP-led code, and GPL is for all software on GP-led code. Most Mozilla products, for example, Firefox and Thunderbird, use MPL2. In the picture, the left has the least restriction, and the right has the most restriction. You can use the copyleft licensed source code in your commercial software with the condition that you need to share your source code. Use weak copyleft licensed source code under the condition to share the modified source code. Thank you. Hope you learned something from this video.